Hello and welcome back to the Factorio by 2020 community map. So previously I've done a lot of nuclear and a lot of beacons for increasing production. So my plan today is to to rebuild all the sites from scratch. I'm just going to rebuild all of this. I think I'm going to build it over here. In the event this does get in the way, this is kind of redundant now. I'm just going to switch fully to nuclear. And along the way I might build another nuclear plant because I am getting up to that power limit there. And so if everything goes as a plan, at the end of the day I should be back in the business of making rockets to get space science and trying to get a couple of these, maybe work a robot speed, just get started on mining productivity. And I'm not going to go for 1k straight away, I don't think I've got enough resources, but we'll try and build big enough to plan for it in the future. So first up for the red science packs. So for red science packs, I think I'm going to have maybe 12, that seems like a good number to start with. Just try and put it in the right place. And this is such a simple recipe, this is just going to be a straightforward affair like that, so I imagine it won't be too much to show. So first set of those built, everything looks good. So moving on to the green science. I think this needs a bit more than red because of the ratios. Look at, is it this? Going from 5 seconds to 6 seconds, so let's call it 15 as something kind of nearby. And this is going to be again, I think, pretty much the same layout, but I'll just need that same machine again like before over on that one to do the transport belts and the inserters. And I've not quite done the math yet on them, but I'm going to get speed beacons covering those two anyway, so that's like a free bonus I guess. So the change that still works out without having to have multiple belt or multiple inserter factories. And so that completes that. So I've actually made a mistake there on the ratio. I'm going to go check the math. I think I maybe assume that these are just like way faster than they are. Okay, so I think I calculate this right now. So I think the exact number is with full set of beacons. Now I do need to make sure this isn't stalling, which it is. So that can be remedied by having more inserters. Still, it's this one here. It needs to get both the iron and the iron gears. And it probably needs a stack inserter to unload it. Okay, well that's backed up now, I guess I'll find out later. But I think it's the right number. Of course, also this produces twice as many, so I definitely need one of those. Just do I need a second inserter? Wouldn't be convenient, it wouldn't be easy to get the green circuits in. But I'm sure I could work out some solution to that problem. And actually, the other thing I want to do, I just want to move this all over because I built that there. Just so I can keep this space clear for future expansion while I have the opportunity to do that. On to blue science, I think the target number is 26 assemblers. But the difficulty here is making engines, so my rough math says that one engine assembly machine can provide for just slightly more than slightly more than two of the chemical science things. So the question then is how to make that work. So one option would be something like that, but this ends up back in the problem that ends up with the beacons like aligning. It tends to be bad. The other option is just to put the engines onto a transport belt, or I could do something like I did here with a transport belt, but rather than having them all on one belt, have individual belts between the two. Now my thinking is, because I know it's less engines than this chemical, I'll just have a transport belt to do it. And because it's not that many engines, I'm pretty certain they will fit onto a single blue belt. So that would give me something like engines being here, with a set of beacons here. Then the science packs will be here. Now the complexity I'm going to have to figure out is these need 3 different inputs. Basically means I need a belt and a belt for input, and I can mix a belt for input and output. I think that's the best option I've got, which means all the engines will go this way. I can't make that belt go the opposite direction easily, which is a bit unfortunate. I do have a belief that one belt hopefully enough for everything. My feeling at least, because I said engines and stuff don't take up too much space. Also, yeah, they can benefit from productivity, so that's worth noting. There. Then another set. The other complexity is sulfur. Sulfur's quite cheap and quick, so I check where I did that before. Somewhere over here, yeah, I had this plant here. So the only complexity there is I need the water supply, and the water is over here. I think it's better to pipe the water and pipe the gas, and then do that as close over here as possible. Ah yes, and that creates a complexity here, so this also requires 3 inputs to get 1 output. It means also all the belts want to go this way potentially, so that could be an issue. The only way around that would be if I made the sulfur over here, so the sulfur flows in this direction. And I don't think I need enough of it to need multiple belts as well. I think I'm still good for everything being on a half belt. And actually, even if I could make the sulfur flow in this direction, I want the science packs themselves to go in this direction. Well, I suppose the obvious workaround is I just run the belt the entire length right the way back. That's how I go. So I'm going to go with 15 of these to start with. So this will be only inputs up there, outputting there, and inputting there. So this will be the input output. So what I'm thinking by that is I think I can just come back a set of underground belts and I can loop around at the end to come back in opposite direction. So that end piece will be looking like this with a splitter. Find the engine in here. The engine's on that side. Just loop them back around to this belt that goes the entire length of the system. And then I can have twice as many of these on the end here. So this will come along, come down, merge with something. So Blue Science is up and running and this appears to be working fine. So I got the oil and the water from over here by the plastic production. And all the belts are pretty much, I did the basic simplest splitters over here. And I'm side loading and so forth as needed on these. Round 2 purple science, I believe the required number is 15 of these. Big problem here is going to be the rail track. So although theoretically rail track, especially beacons, I need very few assembly machines, the problem I'm going to run into is getting it onto the transport belts. So that could be an interesting challenge. Also the rail track and actually also the furnaces and the productivity modules do benefit beacons. They cannot use productivity modules, which means I don't get as much benefit out of using beacons as I might otherwise. So since this stuff won't benefit as much from beacons, I'm wondering if I should just use less beacons. It does mean more assembly machines though, so I'd have to think about that. The main thing there is power efficiency, so you can see a speed module increases energy consumption more than it increases speed. So having more of them is less efficient. The other options I could also do that, which then gives me as much speed as possible. Now with these both requiring 5, I believe one press belt is enough, so that's a good start. So I could do this, then put more beacons here. This is definitely an option, and I think I then just need 5 of these. Okay, I think the number I want is 9, so it'd be 3 sets of 3 basically. I think the easiest way of building that. Then that would be taking circuits on one side and outputting beacons on the other side. Well, modules on the other side. I guess I don't want them to go that way, it's the easiest. So this is definitely a possibility here. This one I think is easiest. The furnaces are more tricky. In fact, looking at the fact I need 3 resources and 2 of those resources a stack of 10, which I think not fit on one express belt. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the furnaces as far here on the right. Because the other thing is it's very quick crafting time. It's 15 seconds, that's 5 seconds, so I need a lot less of these assembly machines. also a difference on the consumption? No, I just need one of each. So yeah, I need 3 times less furnaces than I need these. So I was going to build 3 of these, and I build 3 furnaces. So I'm going to put the furnaces rightmost, and that way if I need to change them, it's the most likely one to change. That's the easiest way of doing things. That makes the furnaces these ones, and then the idea would be if I can get an underground belt there. Yeah, this will be the stuff for the productivity modules, and then this will be stuff for the furnaces. And yes, I'm already finding difficulties. Where do I put the third input? Possibly I just do that. Third input could go there, like so. That would be the one which needs the least stuff, so advanced circuits. So that's 2 inputs on the top, third input, output, and this will sideload. And I still think I need 3, so does that reach? Okay, that does reach, it's unfortunate. Let's just have the robots duplicate that. So this could do that. Then the space for inserters there, space for power poles, and then the input. I think it's the solution I want. So then this continues over there. Make those. That gives me 2 of the things. Then for the rail tracks, not really sure. So let's say this was here, and these ones can use productivity. 30 rail tracks. Let's calculate that. I think it's 3 belts. So like all of those were tracks. And I have half a belt. I have 6 times too little. So I think the option there is 8 track to 16 purple. This is to say, for every one of these I need 1 track. Assuming I have beacons on both, I believe. Oh, it was 2 to 1 without the beacons. I think that's how I calculated it in the first place. So that could be fairly straightforward then, I guess. So if this is here, and I had something like that, then the track could come through here. Then this here would make the track. And now I just need to figure out where putting the... I think I need more than 1 inserter. Maybe I do that. And then these 2 could be side-loaded. Well, not side-loaded in the belt term, but they can be inserters on the side of the assembly machine. So this becomes the track assembly machine. And then for the inputs, going to be a lot of inputs. Maybe I assume I need a dedicated inserter slash belt for each one. So then that would give me that, I think. It would be inputs, inputs, outputs, outputs. Definitely have to give this one a trial run, but I think that might be somewhat the right ratio. Okay, now I need to actually fit the power in there. Because I've got that many inserters, I can't put power pods at the bottom, but that is fine. I can just put substation at the top, and that will have the reach to get across. Okay, so 2 mistakes on here, I see. This is aligned with the beacon, it shouldn't be, so it needs to go... Yeah, it can go here, this works. Because that can go there, that can go there. Second inserter goes there. And also I discovered that doesn't fit. It needs to go like that. And then also to not fit, there's a conflict here. Right, is there any way I can solve that? Oh, of course I can solve that. So this is not how that should work. This should go here. And then I don't need to come off the side there. Which means I then can come off the side here. Because I get 4 inserters, even though it's only 3 tiles wide. And so that is purple starts done. So I definitely need to make a lot more steel in general to start with. I also had to add this here. I forgot about I needed these sticks. So these can have productivity in. And I'm going to want another beacons probably for whatever comes up next anyway. And so this is just going to load up both sides with iron sticks with, as I said, the beacons and the productivity. Actually, it looks like I'm not going to stone either, so I need to expand stone mine, which I might be able to do anyway because I've got more stone there. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go and probably grab one of these two. Onto yellow science, I think my plan here for these utility packs, I'm going to make the low density structure somewhere else. I need it for the rockets as well. I'm just going to use one design for that. And it does compact quite well. It takes a lot of input to get not very many low density structures. Process units, they're on the belt anyway, so it's just the robo frames I'm making here. And I think if I got the maths right, it's 4 engines to 4 electric plus 4 batteries. The batteries are actually going to be on a belt to 12 robots to 16 yellows, which I'll probably round up to 18 as well, just to make the layout a bit tidier. What about this a few ways? I can't really come up with a good solution. I'm thinking is maybe I'll make engines at a slower pace using just one set of beacons. And the reason for that is then I can have a much simpler job here because I can just go there. I can just direct insert from there across to there. And I do still need to find somewhere though for the second belt of stuff. Oh, that's fine. So then this will be red. This will be electric engines and green circuits. And that could be 2 things. Where's the third thing going to fit though? I guess since I've done this anyway, what I could do is move that down one further. If I can fit long-handed inserters on this middle tile, as well as a belt, some undergrounds or something, then I could pull off one of the items from this belt. Probably one of the lower quantity items. Well, actually, really, I think it's all going to be fairly low quantity items anyway. So I could put like steel or gears or something on there, and then the pipes and the other thing up there. Yeah, so to make the robot frames, I had a bit of a problem. The problem is that these need 4 inputs, and there's only space for 2 belts. Now I could have done some belt weaving stuff. I don't particularly like belt weaving. So my cunning plan here, which I hope won't just deadlock, is to put both the robot frames and the electric engines on the same side of the same belt. And at the end there's a splitter. So this what I do here to make this work is all the engines that don't get consumed, they need to like get out the way so they don't just block the belt. So they then get fed around back here, back into this, and then hopefully if it's like backed up like this, because these assembly machines can't run, there should always end up being enough of a gap for these to be able to output their engine, output their frame rather. Because if I get a situation where the entire belt is completely packed with electric engines, then it will deadlock, and that would be bad. So I've finished the yellow setup, so one taking is the robot frames from here. This does appear to have not got stuck, so that's good. I'll have to see once it's started again whether all of these here are about to cause a problem, but I think they're okay. Because once this starts moving, those engines can clear off around that like bit of a gap there. So I've got low density structures, process units and stuff coming in here. And then another mixed belt, I'll put a filter on it to do it. Looking at the power, I noticed that I was getting a bit higher. Especially if these are all running, because they're all stopped right now, probably a bit more, but the beacons alone are using 0.5 gigawatt. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to replicate this, build a second nuclear setup. I might have to move this circuit thing over here or something, maybe. I think I'll keep it, I just need to move it back past wherever the split's going to be. And yeah, it'll be a carbon copy of this here. Starting with the turbines, so this is going to be where it tiles, because the turbines is the widest part. And then the rest of this here, this just fits below the turbines. That should tile correctly there. Now so I'll do something with the belts, I'll plumb up all the pipes. I might be missing a few things, okay, I need that and that manually made. And it's probably going to take a few seconds, about minutes, quite a long time actually, for these robots to do that much work. So second nuclear plant online, so that's bringing me up to only a theoretical 2.8. I'm still just using about 1, so that should give me plenty. There's a little interruption, power wires moving, power poles around, that's unfortunate. But you can see if you look at the ever increasing demand here, because of assembly machines, beacons and so forth over a 10-hour period. We've just over, price over now, the beacon's gradually creeping up as I build more stuff. I think this extra power plant is definitely going to be required. Moving on to rocket fuel. Difficulty with this one is I'm not quite sure what the ratio is meant to be. I think it's 1 to 2, not 1 to 1, so something like that with the beacon line in the middle. So I'm thinking it's something like this. As time will tell on that, I need extra space for output, of course. And actually, of course, also there are assembly machines once again. Yeah, assembly machine, not chemical plants. So that kind of restricts me on the input side as well. I think that's fine, so I don't line up perfectly. Can that reach over there though? Nope, that does not reach. It does reach to there though, so okay, so I can leave an extra gap here. So I think, like I said, they come in pairs. And then I guess that will go there. And this is basically the most efficient way I can think of doing it right now. Well, actually, I still need to get that from there to there, don't I? And let me go have a think about this. Okay, so I think this option works. So I've got here is a 1-to-1 ratio. So I've got half as many beacons on these as on these, so I think that works out closer. I did look at doing less beacons for these, so potentially these aren't here. But then I need an enormous number of these, like 90 or something. This is why I believe I need 50 of these, so that's still quite a lot. And this is tileable then this way, and I could mirror it to do a second set there. And hopefully I won't have too much problem with pipe capacity. I've not even tried to work out the pipe capacity right now. So it looks like I was slightly off on my math, and to make these 1-to-1 I need 1 beacon extra. That's kind of a shame, because it means I can't just do back-to-back on this pipe. But maybe having 2 pipes would be a better idea anyway. And so what this will mean is I need to put this beacon on every third machine down here. But other than that relatively minor calculation there, this looks like it's worked quite well. It has already filled up this belt all the way down to where the science is. So next up on the list of things to upgrade is going to be the low density structures, and I'm going to also move the control units to somewhere else to give myself a little bit more space. I don't really want to have to move this, I don't want to have to move this. So there could be some experimentation here to see the best way of doing things. Probably going to take a while for them to actually delete all this stuff as well. So my intention for these is to have the copper and steel on here, and the plastic and low density structure on here. That's going to be because the plastic will continue to come from over here. Put down a copy of the one I used for the red circuits. The problem is going to be this needs 20 copper. I think that is a lot of copper I won't be able to bring in. So one idea I had was for each set of 3 or 6, how that works out. I might have to move this whole thing south. If I can bring in additional copper somehow, make it fit here. If this is like this, I could maybe bring in extra copper like that, but then I'm stuck only using one side of the belt. I'd like to use both sides of the belt, ideally. Which would imply that that can't be there, it's coming like this. Obviously copper's on one side here, but it means I don't have to worry too much about complicated ways of putting this on one particular side of this belt. I have a feeling I'm going to need to have 2 inserters to do enough stuff so I can get 2 there and there. This one though, where's that go? And then this one I have even less of an idea about. Actually, enough option gives me a bit more freedom is to leave a space in between there. Yeah, I don't particularly like doing belt weaving, so I'm finding a solution that doesn't involve weaving underground belts. See, I really like, I know the developer says in 10 and stuff, but I just find like doing essentially like that, and then it's like, it's somehow like, I mean, kind of argues like, oh, it does that, when it does that, but it's like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's like triggers me. So, okay, so this is a full belt of copper. This can be on the plastic rather than low density structures. Or maybe the steel and the low density structures gets a lower amount. Problem is how to do the other one, so I can make a belt fit here, but then see there's only space for the one inserter. This one doesn't get to join in. And if I put one up here, I don't know, I guess I could do that work. And it does the opposite. Yeah, so it kind of like switches back and forth. That could work because I get the opportunity to have an inserter each on there. So that was for the plastic. I'd go that way around, yes, so I'd go like that. And as long as one inserter can do the 5 plastic in the allowed time, I think that works. Okay, so I've got this here going now. It looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be doing for a total of 12 assembly machines. And maybe there's still not enough copper. I might actually literally 2 copper belts going into this little setup. But I think got enough space to do. I think I can get one through here, like this. See what that ends up looking like. And then this can then just have a simple splitter to merge it. Okay, so that works nicely. So at some point in the future I can come up with more copper, which I could just plumb it in now, I guess. Okay, so this is going to need a lot of upgrading in the future, but it does at least demonstrate how this is going to flow. So I can see it works. So these copper's going to come under here, come up to here and merge. And I think that provides enough capacity. Next up is the rocket control unit, and that needs speed modules and what the other thing is. Speed modules and process units. Kind of tempted to build it here. This is all the old science, kind of redundant. So my thinking is I'm just going to take the plunge now and delete all this. And I can use those labs and stuff later as well. Reuse those. And then I can, yeah, I'll use this space to build up the rocket control units. So since I can't put productivity modules in the speed meter units, I think if I do it this way, one of these supplies about 3 of these roughly, give or take. So then this supplies 9 of those. And I had 12 of those before, so see how this goes, but this is what I'm going to start with. And then make that. No, I'm actually going to flip these around. This guy I like to have. Like, it starts at the top and it works its way down in terms of producing bigger and bigger stuff. So what will happen is this will do outputs here. It's going to come down to there. Merge with a blue circuit and then input there. And then output going there. And I'm going to clean up all these as well, I guess, along the way. Just to make routing those transport belts a bit easier. And of course the inputs for these are going to be up here. So these ones aren't actually particularly interesting assemblers. They're just going to have basic 2 power poles with inputs like so. And same here, inputs, output, output. But I think it's 1:3 ratio. So I think this is good now. So I've got 6 of those going to 18 of those. That's the 1:3 ratio I think is correct here. It looks like it's working well enough. Again, these have backed up almost immediately because I haven't been using them for so long. And this belt here was already backed up. But I think that simple setup is correct. And with that, I've now got all the components to feed into rockets. And I'm actually going to move this somewhere as well. Oh yeah, I never actually used that 1000 science. Last thing here will be to make the satellite. So, satellites are quite cheap in qualities compared to the rockets, not that this is cheap at all. So I've got 2 of the things I need here anyway, so I can take those. Rocket fuel will come for the rocket, solar panels, accumulators, and the radars are basically running out. I'll put the radars wherever. So solar panels, how do I make those? So that's 3 inputs, that's going to be again a little bit inconvenient. I guess the question is, do I want to use beacons or not for this? I feel like I do because otherwise I was going to have I'll have lots of extra assembly machines I don't really need. So let's start put speed in everything. Then I can use these beacons here actually. I'm just going to go 3 solar panel things with speed modules and assume that's kind of the right number. And I need to come down there. So solar panels. Nothing particularly special about the input. Okay. It's maybe electronic circuit. I hope that's fine. So that'll be 2 of the inputs, 1 of the input and an output. And then I'll have a splitter to deal with that. Accumulators, are they easier? Okay, let's actually put this over. Not here, let's put it over here. Because accumulators do seem to be a lot easier to deal with. So for the accumulators, it's going to be a simple output. Because I only need the 2 inputs. And then the radar, like I said, I'll just put it here or something. I think one assembly machine will make more than enough radars. Nothing common between those inputs. So finishing off on the rocket, so I've got all the bits and pieces for the rocket coming in on here. And I'm not bothered merging any of these belts at this point. I can make the radars, make the accumulators, solar panels, they all just go to the satellite factory here. And then the rest of these come around, inserted into the silo. And the rocket fuel gets a little bit split off to again make the satellite, and space science should come out here. So enable auto launch on that and it should launch itself. And then the question from then on will be how quickly can I sustain launching repeated rockets. And I haven't quite done the math yet on the beacons, so what I've done is I can't put beacons on this side. I might as well put more beacons, they're quite cheap at this point for me. So if I want the maximum number of beacons, I'd need to make space here and do something else with the satellites. Oh yeah, just leaves the labs then. Yeah, so it doesn't bother me these signs of got distracted there. Let's have red, green, blue, purple, yellow, white. So I can just insert with 3 inserters like so. And then I can insert into another lab. Kind of chain them that way, I think. And I can give these productivity 2. And I can give them some speed beacons. Catch for doing this row is again like I was having with some of the direct Z machines. It's offset here of 1 tile. It will make the labs not align very well. But I could definitely do like this. And each lab gets 4 beacons. So it's a lot less than the I might have, but it's a simple enough layout and I can enhance it later if I want to. As for getting the science packs in, I think I can do something like this. These can then come under, so that gives me the 3 belts to continue on. These are the 3 belts of input. And then, if I hadn't just made that mistake, okay, then there's 1 belt there, 1 belt there, 1 belt there. And then they're the branching off ones for that set of science. This can also be tiled quite easily, like so. Except for whatever mistake I just made. Oh, I've used up too much space. Okay, I need to try and make it more compact. Not seeing a solution right now though. Let's just try that again. The other option is just to leave an extra tile space between them. So if I had 1 here, 1 here and 1 here, then these here are the continuing input outputs, and then these here are the outputs. And it sounds like there's another rocket going off. A bit quite noisy around here, I guess. And then this should take up less space. And really this extra tile here doesn't bother me too much. I have plenty of build space on this map. So this now looks like it's working, so these will coming in here. And it looked to me like the labs were stalling I think because inserters couldn't keep up. I'm still sawing a little bit, but I think that's okay. So I took one lab off the end, and I'm going to build a whole bunch more labs down here to expand. As it looks like I'm short on labs, maybe. Let's just get another 12 to meet that. And then the rest of the stuff should be coming from the robots from over here somewhere. And once this blockage is cleared, I think this stopped because the space science wasn't getting used. And I'll see how it's going. But as far as building, I think that's all I'm going to build for today. So I'd say that's a success. Everything is automated. It does appear to be all working perfectly fine. And I got that drone tech, so these drones will be a bit faster now. I'm going to go on to mining productivity. And this is another rocket launching, so that's going to be the 7th one. So it's going to be 6 rockets quite quickly. In fact, I guess if I look here and go to space science on production, and we look at like the past 10 minutes, you can see I've been launching these relatively quickly. Especially if you consider it had been, where even was the last one that I launched? Oh, there you go, and see a peak there. But yeah, it's over 10 hours of additional building I've done since I got that first rocket. It wasn't actually that far ago, it was only a couple of episodes. That's just like how much extra building I've been doing in the background. Now, mapping out this episode, I can see some shortcomings. There's not enough control units at all, not enough low density structures. I think low density structures are the issue here for the yellow science as well. The issue for the purple science is steel, I believe. Also not enough. There's just not enough of anything now, so I built a massive science base. So all that research stuff I did earlier is not, all that circuit stuff I did earlier is not enough at all. And I have gone up power, so let's just see what's going on with this. Okay, so this is starved from iron. It needs a lot more iron in order to create enough circuits. I do have enough blue circuits, so that's good. Yeah, there's not enough red circuits at all, and that's primarily because of iron to make green ones, I think. So getting mining productivity will slowly help with that, but not really in the short term. So I can see here, this is just smelting as fast as it's going to smelt. Yeah, I've actually depleted a few of those miners right on the edge. There's still 11 million ore there though. Now I look over at this one, what's up with this one? And this one has a few miners I never actually built. I guess they were too far away when I was running around with drones. So yeah, I think next up is going to be I have to get that. I might have enough copper for the time being, and even if I don't, that's nice and close by anyway. Once I've got that iron though, then the iron becomes more difficult. I'd have to go over there. I might actually get into doing trains. That would be something I've not done. Now, how am I doing for power as well? That's going to be a good metric to see. So I am getting into using that second reactor just, I think, but I didn't actually need it. That was a bit preemptive, I guess. It looks like it's still going nicely there. Alright, this is interesting. So this has got stuck, I guess, because there was a 235 coming down here. But the 235 couldn't get in because of the priority on this. Probably my mistake, I should not put that priority on. So having got stuck, then okay, I'll have to fix that before I get a massive power cut. I need more copper, so that's why there's not enough low density structures. There is enough steel, or at least enough steel here. There's not enough steel further down, I think. And that's because I should be upgrading these. Okay, so that's all going to be little fixy things. I'll either do them off camera or I'll do them before the next section. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed so far, and be sure to look out for some more.